Good morning. Firstly, I'd like to thank you, Jay, for affording me the opportunity to be here and contribute today. I truly appreciate the platform that you've provided. Secondly, and most importantly, I'd like to recognize you, the graduates, because we are here today because of you guys. It is said that many people start things, but very few people finish. And it takes a very special kind of person to finish what it is that you start. So I'd like to recognize you and ask you to give yourselves a round of applause, as well as the family members that are here to support you for what it is that you've achieved. Now, whenever I speak, I try to ensure that I get a microphone where I can walk around, because the microphone is able to hide my challenge that I have in height. Because when I stand here, this thing is more than half my height and it's not waking. And normally people will ask me, okay, Ndoda, it's quite confusing because we see you, you're such a little man, but then you speak, you've got such a big voice. And I normally tell them, you know, what the Lord deprived me in height, He had to make up for in other areas. And I'm not just talking about my voice. And I need to pray for you guys. God give me a great voice and big dreams. That's what I'm talking about. I need to pray for y'all. As MC, a manager with the program director said, my name is Dominic Gaobepe, so I'm from Watville in the East Rand. I was born in a family where both my parents never completed their schooling, so they never finished their matric, and they were unemployed since the 1990s. So growing up in that household was always quite a challenge financially. But the one thing that I'm absolutely grateful for is that although we struggled financially, I was blessed to have parents who loved me and parents who supported me. And in my opinion, no amount of money can buy that. That's one of the best gifts that you can be able to give to your children. So I'm grateful for that. One of the turning points that happened in my life was that at the age of 16, I had a dream of going to university. But then when you're 16, you start becoming more aware and you realize, you know, as much as I've got this dream of going to university, my parents just could not make it happen. We were struggling at that stage to pay school fees for 4,000 Rand per year, and here I was wanting to go to university, which required at that stage 60,000 Rand a year. And I had to think, and I was at a crossroads. So there was a decision to be made. I would either accept the situation that I was in, settle for my circumstances and say, okay, after I matriculate, I'll go and work. Or I needed to figure things out. I figured out that I needed to ask for help. And I think that's one of the first principles I'd like to leave with you. You need to ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong. When I asked for help, I then realized there are organizations out there that will literally pay for students that have the potential to do great things. There are people out there that have the money to say, if you're the kind of person that's got that drive that can make the difference, we'll invest in you, we'll invest in your future. And as a result of that, when I got to matric, I got a scholarship. It was the Ernest Oppenheimer Trust Scholarship that enabled me to go to Rhodes University. And I graduated there with a Bachelor of Economics degree and the first in my family ever to have been able to graduate it from university. So I was absolutely grateful for that. As I speak today, I'm here to serve you. The speaking thing, man, I've only been doing it for less than 12 months. So I hope I do justice and I'm of best service to you. When they got hold of me and asked me to speak, I said, I'm not quite sure what I'll speak about, but I'll share the best lessons I can from my perspective on what I've experienced as being an entrepreneur in the past 3 years. So the things that I'm going to say, you do not need to agree with me. So that's the first thing I'd like to put out there. These are my experiences, and I'm hoping that some of these principles that I've learned can be of value to somebody else. So there's 3 things I'd like to touch with you. The first is the importance of the mindset of the entrepreneur. The second are the challenges that you'll face as you go through this journey of carving out your own personal economy and taking responsibility for your life. And then the last element I'd like to touch on will be what are the reasons, you know, what makes it worth it for you? I was speaking with one of the guests outside earlier, and she said she's met a lot of business people and she's met a lot of young people whom their primary objective is money. And when your primary objective is money, that is very limited. Money is a byproduct of the success that you'll be able to achieve. And by the way, the person that you will become in the process will be far more important than the money that you make. Okay? If you meet any person that is a multimillionaire currently, they could lose their money. But the one thing that is key, that within the next 12 months or 2 years, they'll make all that money back. Because it's not the money that mattered, but the person they became. The ideas that they have, the connections that they've been able to build, the value that they're able to put out there in the marketplace. And it then kicks off my talk around the importance of the mindset of the entrepreneur. Before I resigned and became an entrepreneur, I used to be in human resources. So I worked with companies such as Unilever and South African breweries. And one of the roles I had, I traveled around quite a lot. And one of my most favorite places when I traveled, funny enough, was a toilet at OR Tambo. And the reason why this toilet was my favorite place is when you go to the departures at OR Tambo and you walk in, there's a gentleman there that says, "Good morning, sir, and welcome to my office." And anyone else that comes in, he keeps saying that to everyone, "Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to my office." And I was quite intrigued by that and inspired by that, because here's this man whom by any account we just deem a cleaner. However, the attitude that he had towards his work gave people a smile whenever they walked into his office. And the one thing that I then learned for myself as an entrepreneur is that as an entrepreneur, you need to find ways to stand out and find ways to be memorable. Okay? So the things that we do out there in the marketplace are not very different. But if you recognize that you have an energy signature, that people buy you before they even look at your product or service, you can then be the kind of person that whenever they think of, who can I do business with? Who can be my strategic partner as I go forward? You are the guy that's memorable. Because you need to be the person that's willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. And I received that from my mentor, Les Brown. Because if you're willing to do the things today others won't do, you are willing to provide more service than you get paid for. And when you provide more service than you get paid for, people will remember you. I remember when I had an office, and I used to have a guy that cleaned our office. One of the weeks he wasn't available to come clean, and I brought someone else in. So the guy came in, cleaned the office, and when I returned at the end of the day, not only did this guy clean, but he'd actually repacked the entire storeroom. And I said, "Yo, brother, I need to pay you for this." And he was like, "How could you just pay me for what it is that you brought me here for?" And that was inspiring. Because who do you think I'm going to hire the next time? Or rather, who did I hire the next time when I wanted someone to clean the office? Because you see, that guy was willing to do more than what I was paying him for. And if you get that, those are the things that can give you the edge as an entrepreneur as you go out there into the world. I remember when I was 25, and this was the second significant event that happened in my life. I met a young lady, her name was Lillian, she was from Kenya. So we met together with a group of friends and we were having dinner. So when we started talking, and yeah, I'll mention this organization by name, but it's not to be, flip. So we started talking about the service industry in South Africa, okay? And in the service industry in South Africa, when you go to places like, there's this Tandayo checkers, and those ladies are just looking at you without a smile going, "Plastic." Or our beloved taxi drivers, which by the end of the evening we all agreed, which actually these guys, the kinds of skills they have, they must all have the same mother. There's just no other way we can explain it. But what Lillian shared with me and why I was intrigued with her is Lillian was 25 as I was. She owned a store at Gateway, one of the biggest malls in Africa. And she was able to run that business and sustain herself. And here I was thinking, I'm Mr. Big Shot. HR business partner, Unilever, I've got this made. And I spoke to this young lady, I said, "Lillian, how do you do it?" She said, "Dominic, you South Africans don't realize the opportunities that you have at your feet. We come here and we just seize them." She said, "You guys have gold at your feet and you don't see it. And those of you that see it, most of you complain about the back pain and the hardship of picking up that gold." I could not sleep that evening. Because I realized, Luguti, there's two things that had crippled me as I was going through my journey. The first was the education system. As I went through the South African education system, not once even in a lecture in university, where we taught the South African students that we can be self-sufficient, where we taught that we can do things for ourselves. At university, they were teaching me how to be employable, as many students get taught. The other thing I realized is the conversations that happen within our social structures and our homes. When people speak of business, they speak of risk. That's risky, son. When you speak about people of business, they tell you, hey, do you know how many businesses fail? So instead of the possibilities of business, we speak about the chances of failure. And I then sat up and I woke up that morning at 4 a.m. and I realized that, okay, if there was one message I could put out there, what would it be? And I said, we must be able to see the possibilities and seize the opportunity. As you think about your life and as you think about your future, Einstein said, the imagination is a preview of what's to come. And as you think about your life and think about your future and what it is that you want for yourself, I'd like to challenge you to seize the opportunity. It is said that opportunity comes knocking at the door, but I beg to differ. I say opportunity waits by silently, waiting for you to recognize it and seize it. Going after your dream is hard. Building a business is hard. You can come to your home, go to your friends, and people will say, I will be there for you. Open the car wash, will be there. And when you need them, those people, Gaobepe, nowhere to be found. You'll speak about your dreams and achieving a business, and people will make fun of you. People will criticize you. But it's because a lot of people out there are common. They don't recognize your dream. They don't recognize what it is that you're striving for. As an entrepreneur in the past 3 years, it's been humbling, it's been fulfilling, and there have been some incredible lessons. So typically we think I'll be an entrepreneur, I'll get into my business and I'll be a multi-millionaire after the first 12 months. 12 months later, that 087 number is on your phone. Say your car payment is behind. 12 months later, that private number, you're not answering, but private, I'm sorry, not answering that private. Being an entrepreneur is hard. Okay? But if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. It was easy for me to stay in my job in human resources. Okay? Look at other people that I was seeing on television, listening to them, looking at people on stage and saying, I could do that, but you know what, now I choose to be here and do my human resource work. It was easy to do that. It's easy to blame circumstances and blame other people, Horina, it's them that are bringing the hardships around. But it's hard to take responsibility and recognize that any measure of success in your life requires that you take personal responsibility. Okay? So if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. Or as Theodore Roosevelt put it, that never throughout history has a man who lived a life of ease left a name worth remembering. What will people remember you for? Why have you showed up to do what it is that you do? I'd like to leave you with this. When you decide to embark on a journey to be an entrepreneur, essentially you're embarking on a journey to be of service, and you need to service people out there. And when you think of that, you need some reasons that will help you stay the course when those calls come through and they say your payments are behind. When your family members are in your ear saying, we told you, fool, don't do that. But you are there saying, nah, this is my dream and I'm going to make it no matter what. You need to find reasons that will help you stay the course. One of my reasons is, as a speaker, I believe that we live in a world where we get told more about our limitations rather than our potential. And I'd like to be the voice of hope out there that brings out the potential in people, that says that you are capable, that says that you can change the world, not somebody else. I do what I do because I want to be the best father I can be to my son. Okay? When you're mediocre, nobody benefits. It doesn't help anyone when you play a small life. But when you rise, there's so much more that you can contribute out there. Your family can benefit. You become a better person. Have you recognized the smile on your face when your bank account is looking good? And the smile on your face when you go there and it says, yeah, denied, you've got -4 rand in your account. Okay. Playing a small life does not help anyone. So my reasons is I want to be the best father I can be to my son. I want to be the best son I can be to my parents. I want to be the best contributor that I can be to my community. so that I can help people to see the possibilities that are out there, that I can help people for them to give themselves permission to seize the opportunities when they see them. The path that you guys have embarked on is not a common path. You are people that are trying to achieve some extraordinary results out of ordinary circumstances. I look at you and I see uncommon people. And Theodore Roosevelt put it this way. He said, "I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I do not wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the state look after me. I want to take a calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the still calm of utopia. I will never cower before any master nor bend to any threat, because it's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, this I have done." And that's who you are. You are uncommon people. That's who you are. You will achieve some extraordinary results under ordinary circumstances. So as you get celebrated here today, as you walk away with the end result of this process that you've gone through, I'd like you to realize that this journey is only getting started. And there's so much more that you need to go out there. I'd love to tell you that it's easy, but the reality is it's not. But if you want to leave a name and if you want to leave a legacy, then you need to do it hard, because that's what it requires of you to step out of your comfort zone. So God bless you. God bless your dream. And I thank you.
The University of Johannesburg. Rethink, reinvent.